excuse. One real good excuse. And the government's real good about giving it to us, isn't it? So one of the guys here in town, I don't want to be around him. He doesn't do nothing but fucking. He makes up songs about child molesters. He also talks about his penis and sex and stuff that I just don't really feel like hearing from him. He's a nice enough guy. He's sane. The only crazy part is the part where he acts crazy. That's that child molester thing. And yes, I agree with him 100% on what he's saying. But at the same time, there's local stuff that he can prove and he can speak up on. Instead of bitching about everything is the fault of rich pedophiles on a pedophile island with the fucking Epstein. Like, Jesus Christ, dude, would you just shut the fuck up? All right, he talks about other things and then he makes himself all sorts of crazy about going off on the Chimo thing. Oh, I'm just doing it to piss people off. Well, fuck you, dude. If you're pissing people off, you're making things worse for all of us. You know, there are two homeless people that if I go down there and I say, hey, you know that guy who's got Nika and Domino? Yeah, he's intentionally pissing people off every single day. Those people would recognize immediately that makes it bad for all of us. They might invite him up the mountain with a bottle and him never come back down. Now, this guy is not a bad dude. He doesn't deserve to be taken up the mountain with a bottle, and he doesn't drink. So, I mean, they're not going to get him up the mountain with a bottle. But they know him, and they know what it would take to get him up the mountain. Now, we got a lot of racism. I'm a Nebraskan, and I grew up in the system. I know racism. I can recognize racism when I see it. I can recognize racism when I feel it. What's coming out of BLM is racism. It's ignoring the majority of the victims, saying, oh, well, we're more victimized than everyone else. You know what? What you need to be working for is getting them cameras on there and getting civilian oversight. And I'm not talking about civilian oversight like where you get one officer and he gets a liaison that's a civilian that he becomes buddy-buddy with, because once that happens, you know, therein lies the problem. It's the buddy-buddy system. I want to show you something here. This shirt is a synthetic shirt, right? And of course, there's a little bit darker coloration on my sleeve. That's because I wiped my forehead on it. Now I got a bunch of bumpies all over around my arm. Same thing on this side. Somebody might pretend like I'm a heroin addict for that. They might write it down that I'm on heroin because I got those bumpies. But as you can see, they go up all the way up my arm. They're on my back. I mean, it's everywhere that this shirt is touching. Oh, so, here, fuck it. You know what? I don't need to show you my whole chest. It's a synthetic shirt, and I need to change it. The bugs here are eating me alive. There's some citronella spray that somebody was going to give me, but they just never showed up. I got this thing right here to wipe on myself later on when it gets, well, closer to evening, because that's when the mosquitoes become evil. All right, now let's talk about this guy over there with the dogs, and we'll get to where this comes in with BLM and where it comes in with Me Too movement. So there's a lot of victims, and the victims need to work together, and they're not. This guy, his excuse for not doing anything on the local level or speaking up about the stuff that's happening on the local level, like actually actively, him just bitching at people doesn't get the job done. He needs to find somebody to go in with, and I offered to go in with him to help him turn that in. If we go in force, in numbers, then we can turn these son of a bitches in. If we have to do it one by one because everybody's a bunch of fucking cowards like this old guy, And then he goes, oh, well, my dogs, my dogs, my dogs. I just want to give my dogs this and my dogs that. Dude, you're not fucking doing shit for your dogs, using your dogs as an excuse at this point. I love his dogs. His dogs are great. He loves his dogs. His dogs are great. But he's not doing anything to improve his situation or anyone else's. He wants help. He keeps saying he wants help. He wants help. He wants help. I'm offering to help him. I'm offering to help him in the only way that actually works, working together. But he won't do that. He just wants to intentionally piss people off with this Chimo stuff. Not just me, the rest of the homeless community as well. He just won't shut up about Epstein's fucking island. Dude, I don't want to hear about Epstein's island. Are you going to do something about Epstein's island? Are you a witness to that stuff on Epstein's island? Well, no. Are you witness to the stuff here? Yeah, he is. He is a witness to the stuff here. He can do something about the local stuff. He can help out the locals, but he's a fucking coward. Cowards don't help anybody but themselves. Now, with dogs out here, yeah, that is our family. For a lot of you who have kids, yeah, that's these people's kids, and you want to say it's different? No, it's not. To love and be loved, that's what we're on this fucking planet for, stupid. Do you love people or do you love things? It's a one or the other thing, because, you know, there's a lot of things I may say I love, but not one of those things is worth a human life. Not even one. Now, I have had to do desperate stuff. I was told that it wasn't illegal for all these people, including the Bollingers, to be harassing me and threatening me. That's fucked up. It's apparently illegal if I do it, but then again, she's a pretty white girl, so she had lots of help. What I had was people doing what they do to men. You got to do it yourself. Oh, just man up. Oh, if you ignore it, it'll stop. Yeah, that's worked in the history of ever. No, it doesn't. What you're doing at that point is antagonizing it. Just like telling someone, oh, just ignore him. No, don't ever ignore him. Do not ever ignore him. If there is a situation where people are telling you to ignore a man, no. What you need to do is get an arbiter, get it immediately, and you need to hear that motherfucker out. He might be being abused because of something that you said out of anger that was not fucking true, or out of embarrassment that was not fucking true. I know a lot of men who are dead because of lies. I know a lot of men who committed suicide because their girlfriend or ex-girlfriend wanted to say a bunch of shit that wasn't true about them, and now they're fucking dead. Yeah, accusing men of shit like that, I don't care how fucking mad you are, you don't accuse people of shit like that unless it's fucking true, you pieces of shit. I don't care how fucking mad you are. You guys making the excuse that Natalie Bollinger was a little girl. No, she wasn't. She was a grown-ass adult. Before we ever became friends, she was a grown adult who had the right to be friends with whoever the fuck she wanted. She did all sorts of fucked up shit to me to make other people happy. You say you shouldn't care what other people think. Well, Natalie sure as shit cared what other people think. People who don't know me. But Natalie did. And between telling them the truth and harming me, she chose to harm me. When I try to turn in the slander, see, when I'm being assaulted, people go, oh, well, why would they do that? And then you try to explain them why they would do that. But you can't bring up the stuff that is their reason, their motives, because apparently you're called mentally ill, so they can just talk over you. Why would Natalie Bollinger do the horrible things that she did to me? Why would Maddie Boa do the horrible things that she did? Yeah, I have their motives in their own fucking words, assholes. There's also a lot of people like Victor King. You know, when I first met him, he was a meth dealer. Now he's a daddy. He's also friends with Matty Boa. What's these people's motivation for not telling the truth? They're friends with my fucking predators. That's not my fault. Out of sight, out of mind. Those people are there. So they're there talking about me to these other people, but I'm not allowed to defend myself to it. I'm not there. These people aren't going to listen to me. Between finding out if it's true, between looking at evidence or listening to slander, I am harmed over slander. I am prevented from showing evidence that it's slander because of the slander. How fucking stupid is this? Every single one of these YouTube sites that makes a story slandering my name, it's not just slander. The abuse from it, these are all crimes that need to be investigated. All of the crimes that I have had to endure because of the slander need to be fucking investigated. But nobody will do that job unless I have a fucking guardian. How many black people have to have a guardian? You want to talk about how you're the most marginalized? No. No. Of the top 5 groups most victimized in this country, of the top 5 groups, I am currently part of 4 of them. We're looking at YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, and we're seeing how many men are being smart now. See, that's the thing about body cameras, isn't it? These cops need to wear body cameras because there are people who are poor. There are people who are poor who can't afford to have a phone. There are people who are not technologically developed because they've been poor. They have to walk around to a place like McDonald's or Starbucks to try to find internet access, and they don't get much experience on the internet. People keep saying you need help. I know what I need help with, though. You guys keep trying to shove meds on me, shove it that I should be in a facility. Well, then help to put me in a facility, all right? I need a guardian, and before that guardian can make decisions for me, that guardian needs to be informed of what is going on. Before an advocate can advocate for me, they need to know what's going on. Megan Missigatis was supposed to be an advocate, and she wasn't. She didn't give a shit what was going on. She wanted to talk about herself. I let her know she either needed to come forward to the courts about that shit or I needed to post it in public. I haven't posted it all in public yet. It's because it's a lot of fucking work. I'm exhausted and overwhelmed. I should be in Starbucks trying to download this stuff right now, but I can't function and I know it. All I can do is talk to my fucking phone and hope that somebody listens. And over and over and over again, push on you the same points. This is how men are treated. This is how disabled people are treated. This is how we, being in subservient environments of alcoholics and meth addicts, we can't even take care of ourselves in that environment. We cannot defend ourselves because addicts don't listen to anyone but the drugs. Now, this guy, his excuse is how many people it took to get George Floyd and get that conviction. You know what the point is? People cared about George Floyd. People spoke up about George Floyd. People actually tried. People didn't try to help me the way that I needed. They didn't try to get help stopping the abuse. They saw it happening. Many of these people are nurses. These people are mandated reporters, saw these things happening on the internet. and still did nothing. The police went out of their way not to look until evidence was destroyed, and that's one of the problems with Facebook algorithms. Some of these people made fake profiles to threaten my life outright, openly and publicly. But then people complained about it and it got taken down. The risks that I have to endure, the number of fucking threats that I have to endure, the fact that I have to be afraid to ask for help because I will be abused for asking for help. When you go to your friends for help when you're being abused, do they help you turn it in or do they blow you off? When you go to your family, do they help you turn it in or do they blow you off? That's the difference between the cops doing their jobs and not doing their jobs. My dad wasn't willing to even look at fucking evidence. He claimed that he would, but never did. Every opportunity that I had to show him evidence, he wanted to fucking argue instead. His help cost me money. It cost me my ability to even get a fucking bank account. Yeah, thanks for the help, Dad. This is the help that I got. Good intentioned or not. It wasn't good intentioned. Just like Megan Missigatis didn't do her job as a mandated reporter in the state of Nebraska. She didn't even try. But she claims she's still trying to help me because she's a good person. No, the fuck she's not. Good people come forward. Good people admit when they fucked up. I need help. I need a place to process all of this where I'm not constantly moving, where I am not stuck with alcoholics for help or meth addicts for help, where I'm not stuck in a meth addict's house, where I'm not stuck paying rent at places where people are going to spend that money on getting drunk. Please help me. There is too much for one person to do, let alone homeless. If you're going to offer to help, fucking look at the goddamn evidence. Don't argue with me or tell me fucking about yourself for 4 fucking hours. Please don't do that. That's not help. When I'm explaining to you what's going on, I don't need you to stop and tell me a big fucking story about yourself so that I know you understand. No, I need you to shut up and put yourself in my fucking shoes and listen to the fucking story. If you're not willing to fucking do that, you can't help me. You're not even going to try. If you're not willing to look at evidence or help me share that evidence, to speak up that it does exist and keep fighting. I mean, holy shit. With Mandy Hughes, when did she finally do something? Always when it was too late. But is it really too late? No, it's not. It's not too late if she fights to get those words in there. But you know what? Just like everyone else, she took her shit out on me when she was struggling, when she was frustrated. Yes, absolutely, she snapped at me over things that weren't my fault, weren't my choice. Things that had nothing to do with me except for the fact that I was there. Yeah, she was frustrated. She was frustrated because she had a bunch of stuff with her family that ended up happening that she needed to take care of as soon as I got there. Now, that's not my fault. Just like the situation with the cops in Bull County and the bullshit that they pulled to prevent me from going to see her when we were originally going to. I needed help. I needed help turning it in so these cops wouldn't do what they did repeatedly. Why am I afraid of the cops? Because they all do the same thing. Their protocol when you're a homeless and disabled person who goes in alone is to victimize you. And it costs taxpayer dollars to do that. We are the most victimized people in the country, and BLM tells us we got to go to the back of the bus while BLM members beat the shit out of us. Beat the shit out of primarily poor white people. The people who are fucking shooting them. Police are fucking shooting you. Go do something to the police. You're fucking cowards. BLM is a coward group. Just like Me Too. Me Too is a whole bunch of women and a bunch of simps. That's what it is. Being cruel to male victims, blaming everything on males, including those simps and the other victims. Just like BLM is showing that when they're pissed off, they're not going to go out and kill the police over it. They're going to go out and they're going to kill homeless people over it, including black homeless people. That artillery shell thrown by that BLM rioter, yes, that man, that is definitely a riotous act for him to throw a 4th of July artillery shell in a black homeless man who is sleeping in his sleeping bag. That is attempted fucking murder. At least they cared in that case, didn't they? Almost, sort of. For me to have to go to addicts is a pain in the ass. For me to have to go to people who've never been homeless is a pain in the ass. For me to have to go to cowards is a pain in the ass. For me to have to go to my predators for help because the people who are supposed to do that job refuse to do it and outright lie and claim that it's not their job. Case in point, Nebraska State Patrol and Oregon State Troopers. Nebraska State Patrol telling me it's not their job to police the police. No, it absolutely is. It absolutely is. They assisted Scott DaCosta in breaking the law and harming me repeatedly because Scott DaCosta kept on telling these people I was mentally ill and schizophrenic. Just the piece of paper that I got from Marcia Estrada and the conversation between her and I that is on YouTube is enough to show that police lied in every single one of these situations. Every single one of them. They called me schizophrenic and delusional so nobody would listen to me. They did it knowingly, willingly, and maliciously. Someone needed to go in with me when I spoke to law enforcement, and there was nobody. And as a result, no matter how much I asked, no matter how much I told them that someone needed to be there, those people claimed that they would go with me. Finally went, they didn't go in with me. They didn't go in. Their excuses are on the internet in their own words, in their own voices. God damn it, help me to get this where it needs to go. I can't do this from this situation. I can't do this from living in my car with no money. I only have enough money to get one coffee at Starbucks. I am not going to get my disability money on the 1st. This fucking procrastination bullshit. I can't wait until Monday to do this. If this is an agency that's supposed to help me, why are we procrastinating? Why are we procrastinating? Just like, well, they kept on, when I was trying to turn in police officers, they kept on giving me officers who were on vacation. Holy shit. That's right, Amanda Jonas. Yeah, they told me that she was fighting my case and that she was on vacation for 3 days. Vacation for 3 days. Didn't they have someone who was on duty they could have fucking sent? Meanwhile, I had to make all of these calls alone, so who's going to verify it? I saved the evidence for a reason, but you know what? Even my little sister helped to destroy evidence and to cut me off from resources and to deprive me of resources and to take advantage of me for my finances. I can't even turn her in because the people that I have to go talk to already told me repeatedly and committed crimes against me in doing so. It's not their job, it's not their job, it's not their job. Megan Misgatus. I told her about all these crimes. All of them. How many did she try to help me turn in? None. Not a single one. None. In order to help me to turn them in, she has to be there and present. She has to be there for the call, for the interaction, for the entire thing. It does need to be recorded, because her recollection after the fact, I've got recordings of her saying one thing during the situation and telling me something completely different after the fact, literally making excuses for the cops. Literally making excuses because she wants to assume, especially because she's fucking pissed off at me, assume the worst in me. Go ahead and be pissed off. You're supposed to be an autism advocate lady. The disabled, the homeless, and males, we're told we need to go to the back of the bus. BLM is not an equal rights group, it's a racist hate group. Just like that guy over there, his excuse for making up songs about fucking little kids instead of actually doing something, instead of actually going in with people to turn this shit in, instead of actually speaking up loud and proud where it might actually make a difference, he wants to make excuses. But he wants to complain nonstop about the situation he's in. He's in that situation because he's not willing to try to turn it in. So, pretty much from here on in, when I see that guy, I'm just going to tell him to shut the fuck up. If you're going to turn it in, I'll help you turn it in. If not, shut the fuck up. If these crimes were actually committed, I will help you to turn them in. If you're not going to even try to